See you laid out on the floor, try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Hey, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and gang. A South official, no negotiations needed, period. You already know WCS is back in the building. What's good? Give me a minute. Let me see. If you on your way over, just hit that button if you feel like it. Okay, we got some topics. Of course, I want to continue to cultivate the awareness of those that's out here feeling some type of way about what's currently going on in the sport of boxing. All I'm trying to do is this: if the seed that you used to have is gone, it didn't quite blossom the way you thought, or it did blossom, and then that and specifically has withered and died away. So I'm trying to cultivate your awareness again, and that's to make you understand that change isn't always bad, unless you up here pushing narratives, you pushing agendas. You know what I'm saying? You have ulterior motives. Change ain't always bad, yo. You know what I'm saying? Change ain't always bad. I want to read an article, of course. Hold on for a second. What? Hold on. Hold on for a second, yo. I have to figure out another time. Some just went wrong. Hold on for a second. I have to figure it out another time. Anyway, I wanted to get to a article that has to deal with the fight card that's coming up February 22nd, which I don't think a lot of people talk. Hold on for a second. Damn. Hopefully y'all can hear me. There are a lot of people not talking about, right? It's the last crescendo. You know what I'm saying? You got Beterbiev and Bivol going in there for part 2 of their rematch. As you're looking at it, that's the fight card. And also, prior to that, you have David Benavidez going in there to face a blooming rivalry, so to speak. As we look at it, I mean, they don't like each other. They both undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson deemed him the Mexican monster, but certain of his fans have said that he's not Mexican, but he reps the Mexican colors, the green, white, and red. That fight's supposed to be taking place real soon. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those matchups that can turn into a Beterbiev or a Bivol. But to be honest with you, David Benavidez is looking to target Beterbiev Bivol winner after Morrell. So pretty much what Benavidez is saying, that he's looking over his fight February 22nd. I mean, he's already looking towards the fight February 22nd of the winner of Bivol, Beterbiev. It says the Mexican monster 29-0, 24 coming by way of knockout. Say he'll use a different game plan for each of them and will box Beterbiev 21-0, 21 knockouts and apply pressure. It's still too early for Benavidez to think of facing the winner of that fight because he still must defeat WBA regular light heavyweight champion David Morrell on February 1st. That's a 50-50 fight in most people's mind, but not in Benavidez. This is Boxing News 24. I love reading their biased, you know what I'm saying, articles. I mean, they don't hold anything back. They don't hide it or anything. But I must pause for a second and address the 50-50. As fight fans, we go through this all the time. It's a process to when we have these arguments in the base, right? The process is, of course, the engagement. We always engage, man. That's what boxing topics do. Boxing is almost like a religion. Everybody's going to have their own opinion as to why they support it, right? So in this case, we have to stay on code, man. We have to stay true within ourselves. We have to say, y'all can hear me, right? We have to understand that David Morrell, 11 victories into the game. Any other conversation, anybody's channel, it doesn't matter who it is, very, very well that it's not even up for discussion. This doesn't even have to allow you to even study anything. You really don't have to go into your notes. You can just use recall memory. We have to stay within the integrity of the sport if it still has in it. We have to stay within the morale of the sport if it has any. I don't want to channel my Jack Grease, but we have to use proper manners and stand within the spirit of the sport. Very much well that any conversation, Dave Morrell sitting at 11 victories, is not going to get the nod with a fighter like Benavidez or any other fighter with that experience to deem him a 50-50 competitor. What on his resume provides you with any clarity that he is a 50-50 fighter against Benavidez? Benavidez is 29-0, you all. Dave Morrell is 11-0. Let's keep the same band members. Let's grab a conductor. Let's bring in the symphony. Let's come up with the same tune that you all was playing not too long ago in 2023. I mean, you all was saying that shit effortless. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember how they brought in the entire symphony orchestra? I mean, that's all you heard day in and day out on these panels, is that he ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. And he had quadruple the amount of accolades that David Morrell can even dream of right now, right? And I don't have to say his name. You know who he is. You know who he is. Don't play stupid. You know who he is. But why is David Morrell getting the pass? Like, which one is it going to be? Are you going to consider yourself a boxing hardcore enthusiast, or are you going to continue to play stupid? I mean, it's no reason for you to play stupid. We're about to go into another year. How can, just because he's a Cuban fighter and it's a lot of, push behind, how can you turn around and give him that exemption? Why? What did the prescription say, man? Who wrote it? Y'all tell me, who wrote the prescription that allowed these fight fans to get a little sleepy? Who did it? Who wrote the prescription for the fight fans to get a little sleepy? And then y'all say, hey, man, I know you're saying you was feeling a little woozy or whatever, but we having an open panel tonight. We just want to see, can you come up there, man? I know you're a David Morrell fan. I mean, can you come up there and talk to us? They get these David Morrell fans on the panel. They can barely stay awake. And they say, hey, do you believe that your fighter Morrell is a 50-50 competitor against David Benavidez? Yeah, man. Always, man. He got the tools. He can do it, man. So do you think he need a little bit more experience as where you know him to be right now? And then as we don't need a fine tooth, but if we can grab any type of hair comb and kind of run it through his resume right quick, do you believe it's going to be straight? It's going to be easy, or is it going to be a little coarse and nappy? If we have to comb through this resume, because right now it's not much to deal with. Just 11 fights. It's not much to deal. You don't even need a pick for this. You don't need a pick. You don't need any conditioner. You know what I'm saying? You don't need any freaking hair care products to comb through this resume of David Morrell. Who on his record prepares him for Benavidez? Who, y'all? I need to know why you all are so willing to just forget what you fought so hard for last year. What happened between 23 and 24? I'll tell you what happened. Y'all having side effects. I'll tell you what happened. I said it before. Y'all having some side effects. That's all. When that guy who you all was criticizing the most, I mean, y'all criticize him day in and day out. That guy who you criticize so much, when he went in there and destroyed destroyed your idol, your God, your King, your Lord. You all are still suffering the side effects from that night. Every time I mention it, or anything that come remotely close to it, y'all have those little side effects, those glitches. You have those outbursts like you got Tourette's. I feel it. All I want to know, February, Benavidez is looking to fight the winner. Is he being disrespectful? Is Benavidez being disrespectful? He is fighting on the 1st. He is already looking forward to the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. And you still have fans up here believing it's a 50-50 fight. And he doesn't know, what he's doing. Benavidez has somehow lost his way. It goes on to say he's ultra confident that he'll have no problem beating Morrell. So he finally agrees to fight after watching the Cuban labor against Hot Rod on August 3rd. So once again, what convinces you all that he is ready? Because this guy right here, okay, what's his name? Dan said Benavidez didn't get the courage to fight Morrell until he seen him laboring against Hot Rod. So look, so he was laboring, huh? Because I've been in a few discussions where people seems to not have been able to get their cataract surgery approved because they acting like they can't see it. They acting like they can't see a mother effing thing, y'all. If this guy said that Morrell was laboring in his last fight, and with the pace that we've known David Benavidez to set, where is this confidence precipitating from? Where and why are you all? What in the hell is going on in the dark matter of boxing? It goes on to say few people give Benavidez any chance of beating Bivol or Beterbiev, but it's not surprising that he believes he can beat them. That's his personality. Like many fighters who have been matched carefully, Benavidez thinks he can defeat anyone, which may be his undoing when he goes up against Morrell. His matchmakers at PBC have kept Benavidez well protected, and he's been fighting in the division below his frame size up until his last fight. That helped him. It goes in quote, "My main objective is to put a beating on David Morrell and then go up and face whoever's next," said Benavidez to Sean Zeidel about his immediate goal for February 1st. "I think we were ranked number 1 with the WBC in the spot to fight the winner of Beterbiev Bivol. So if that's what it is, I'm 100% ready for that as well. With these big fights, I'm able to build my brand more and more. It's kind of like Canelo's career. He went up and was beating bigger name fighters. If I don't get the Canelo fight, I really don't care. I'm really happy with my career and happy with the opportunities I'm getting. Now it's just proving I'm the best in the world no matter what weight class. I just feel bad for people because the people are missing an awesome fight," said Benavidez, still harping about the Canelo fight. "That's what we're here for, to give the people good fights." What do y'all think about that? He said, "We're here to give people good fights." That's what I mean about what's going on with boxing. Benavidez and what he's talking about, to me, he gets it. He said, "We're here to give people good fights. In this era, great fights. It has to be more than good. It has to exceed good. It has to be something that's above average and great." You know what I'm saying? It has to, because I don't know what it is. The fight fans are quite different this era. They walk around like they always have a constant fever, just irritated. They always have some gripe about what's going on in sport of boxing. It's been like that for years. The article goes on to say they're the iron champions at the weight class, said Benavidez about Beterbiev and Bivol. Beterbiev is strong coming in. He's like a tank trying to knock you out, but there's room for him to be outboxed. Honestly, I thought Bivol beat him. I thought Bivol beat him, and I thought Bivol beat him convincingly. That's how you can beat that fighter. Benavidez isn't a professional judge, so his opinion about Bivol deserving a victory over Beterbiev in their October 12th clash is meaningless. However, he said before their fight that he thought Bivol was going to win, so he already had a bias. Beterbiev won under pressure, and the judges have already made their call. Bivol is the best boxer in the 175-pound division, but he failed to outbox Beterbiev. If Bivol couldn't do it, a volume puncher like Benavidez won't either. He's not a great boxer, and he's not going to be able to change the way he fights after 11 years in the pro game. Benavidez is the finished product. If he does get a fight against Beterbiev, he will use the same high output style he always has, and that would be a disaster for him. He would be another Callum Smith, but without the power. With Bivol, you have a pressure. You have to pressure him more and throw way more combinations, said Benavidez. You can't just throw left hooks and right hooks. You have to be really intelligent with your combinations. So both of them, you have to fight two different ways. But whoever we fight, we have to be 100% ready. I would definitely be ready. And it would be an amazing fight with both of those guys. I like how it's broken down. I'm not going to read the entire article. I'm just going to read these quotes. So they were giving me a few other names. And I'm like, man, I'm not interested in any of those fights. I want the big fights. And if we can't get anyone big, we're going to make a fight out of a person that has a belt that talks a lot of ish, said Benavidez about why he chose to fight Morrell. So that kind of route we went. This is the fight that people want to watch for a long time. So I feel this is the best time to make the fight between me and Morrell happen. It's just in my mentality that I'm ready to fight the best. I don't care who it is. I'm 100% ready to fight whoever it is. So Benavidez has laid it out that we all understand he doesn't have to take this fight. But it's important that he does take this fight because he was trying aimlessly to fight Canelo and didn't happen. Then people were saying he should fight Demetrius Andrade. And at a certain point in time, they was believing that Andrade would get him a very competitive go, right? But it didn't happen out that way. Andrade started off fast out the blocks, but quickly fell into a slumber, wearing the fight, slowing down. Benavidez broke him down. He did it effortless, so to speak, technically. He got him up out of there. But Benavidez was trying to please the fans in hope of, and it didn't happen. He beat Demetrius Andrade, and nothing even came close to him fighting Canelo. So now he's stepping in with the fighter who somehow, some way, the crazy part about like somehow, some way, when I was putting this out there, right? I said, why don't Edgar Berlanga fight Morrell? I mean, he at one point in time, he had 100% KO ratio. Puerto Rican fan base, Cuban fan base, it would have been great, but it never happened. So Morrell moves up to 175 along with Benavidez, and now we here as we stand. We got the fight. I like it. But what's disappointing is that the fight fans, they are absolutely purposely forgetting their format for debating certain matchups that we have. And this is one of them. They absolutely purposely intent on forgetting and not bringing up the format to qualify a fighter to step in there with a fighter that has way more experience. Like this is a championship fight, right? So why wouldn't you use the same behavior that you use? Why all of a sudden you change? Where did your stance go? Is it resting? Is it inclined somewhere under a tree? Where did your stance go? It couldn't just stand there long enough for you to say, okay, I'm here. I thought about it. You're right. How can you all advocate for Morrell to be ready for Benavidez? Look, I'm going to go out on a strong limb, of course, and say this fight, it may look worse than people think, man. It may end in TKO. You know what I'm saying? It may end in TKO. It may look way, way worse than people give it credit for. Seriously. Sometimes Benavidez can be great. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes he can, he's at a different division. Sometimes he can look average. But it's one thing we can say about Morrell. We haven't seen him in a fight that anyone can compare to any of the fights that David Benavidez had. None of his opponents, none of that shit. They can talk about how, Benavidez looked against Vostick, but yet they can't bring in Morrell and one of his opponents to prepare him for opposition such as Vostick. Who has he fought to prepare him if he was to step in there with Vostick? Nobody. Who's on his resume? Let's get two men and blend them in together somehow in the lab genetically. Let's go do some experiments, the control studies. You know what I'm saying? Just really discreet about it. If we combine two of David Morrell's opponents, can they go in there on the same night and beat David Benavidez if we combine two of them into one? I don't think so. What about the guy he almost sent into a coma? Well, I think he did go to the hospital. What about that? Who was the matchmakers for that? Why would they send that man in there to fight somebody like Morrell and he damn near killed the dude? But now, going off that opponent who was undeveloped, unskilled, and way below any type of ranking that he should have stepped in there with David Morrell, I don't see I don't see this fight going the distance. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't see it being difficult for David Benavidez. I don't. You might want to ask your audience. I don't see it being difficult for Morrell. Seriously, I don't see it at all. I'm trying my best to just try to filter through some shit. I don't see it, man. I'm trying to do some trigonometry, egonometry. You know what I'm saying? Some rigonometry. You know what I'm saying? Some boxingnometry. I'm trying to bring all the problems together. And I'm trying to say, how can he beat him? People keep saying he has this knockout power. But then once again, I say, God damn, approve the copays. Let these people get their cataract surgery, because why they keep saying Morrell is going to knock out Benavidez when he went the distance his last fight. And just like Dan said on Boxing News, he said he was laboring. He said David Morrell was laboring. So where is this knockout coming from when you say it's from Morrell? Where? I just I can't. I don't know, man. I know I'm trying to come up with some compelling climax to say, you know what? I know I can write a script in my mind to for this to be somewhat like a Rocky ending, but I can't. I looked at his resume. People talk about his amateur pedigree. I'm trying to blend all that together into like a machine. I even call Arnold up. I say, Arnold, maybe you can help me out. Do you have any of them old freaking parts that you used to use? I want to try to build a cyborg or something, named Morrell, to see if even he can help me understand how he's supposed to go in here February 1st and beat David Benavidez. And this is a perfect example of where boxing has been in the U.S. footprint. Our desire to get the best fight, the best. This isn't the best fighting the best. This can't be, because Tank, when he was holding the Reggie belt twice at 135 and 140, man, y'all ripped him to shreds. Still, he ain't tried to go for the belts. You know, he a bad representation. He don't set the example. He don't care. You know, he's setting a poor example in the sport. But Morrell is the Reggie belt holder in 2 divisions. And lo and behold, the tsunamis of goddamn praise come in. A tsunami of praise. You can hear them clapping from afar, y'all. God damn. You can feel the shimmers. Hey, Dave Morrell, 2 division champion. You forgot that. But he's a 2-time, a Reggie belt holder, though. It don't matter. It don't matter. He's qualified, decorated amateur, Cuban, southpaw. Dave Benavidez is in trouble. Believe me, 99%. He's in trouble. You don't mess with the Cuban boxers. They're different. What they had to go over, what they had to go through to get here, they're different. Respect it. I'm just trying to understand, man. Like, how do I bring this? How do I bring this mold together? Like, why do I continue to hear people speak about this fight as if it's a 50-50 and it's going to be tough just because they want to get behind Dave Morrell? Y'all need to make up your mind who you like. You understand? Just make up your mind who you like. Like, stop switching up so much. Stop switching up when things don't go your way in boxing, and then turn around when the reality sets in and the fight happened. You come back on here on live and say, well, I don't think he actually, beat 100% so-and-so. I just think it was a bad night for my fighter. I think it was a bad night. At the end of the day, I think it was a bad night. No, man. No, it wasn't a bad night. When you're talking about that particular person not performing up to your standards. So I'm going to move on from that, man. I'm going for David Benavidez, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely believe that David Benavidez will win by stoppage. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the face off, neither man, let me put this up here. If you're looking at the face-to-face face-off, okay? Neither fighter looks extremely bigger than the other. But when it comes to boxing, we've seen time again where a fighter can outsize his opponent. Let me go back once again, because it's all about being literate and petty. Y'all remember when that face-off happened with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? How I heard the giggles on here that Errol Spence, he's so big, Crawford looks like his son. Y'all remember that in 2020? Y'all remember that, right? When they finally had their press conference at the early part of 2023. Y'all remember that, right? Okay. And it's weigh-ins for a reason, right? So if you're looking at this, no fighter looks really bigger than the other. Benavidez look a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying? But height-wise, they match up well, size, everything. I mean, it on paper, bro, looking at them, you know what I'm saying? Size for size, it looks like a solid matchup. The Cuban, he has 78.5-inch reach. He's 6'1", and he's southpaw, 26 years of age. And then you have the monster, the Mexican monster, 28 years old, 6'2", and 74.5-inch reach. Did y'all just hear me? Did y'all just hear what I said? I don't think y'all heard what I said, man. 74.5-inch reach for David Benavidez. For Morrell, 78.5-inch. Benavidez 74, Morrell 78. Okay, just just so y'all can have something to run with tonight. I just wanted to throw some statistics out there, some numbers. Also, Morrell sits at 81.82% KO ratio, whereas David Benavidez sits at 82.76%. You know how this is what I'm saying, that they match up very well. The only things that separate them, I mean, tremendously, is their experience. Benavidez is sitting at 24 knockouts, man, hosting 29 victories. And then you have Morrell with 11 victories and 9 knockouts. I don't care what took him so long to get here. I don't care what he's been doing since he got here. All I know is during that window, if he was that great of a fighter, God damn it, his resume will look way better. His report card when it comes to boxing would not be a D. Come on now. His resume, his report card, his boxing FICO is like at a 635 right now. Due to a lack of value or quality opposition, man. Get the heck out of here, yo. Why are you cats up here trying to bring in numbers and talk about his amateur pedigree? What nuance is that, yo? Let the shit go. Stay on code. Stay on topic. Have some integrity about yourself. I just had to throw that up there. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can see that it's not that different. It's not that big of a difference. They match up very well. I want to get to a person who's really, you know what I'm saying, showing himself in the sport of boxing. And he seems to have average people feeling some type of way. I mean, even the holidays can't bring a smile to him when Turki Alalshikh name is mentioned. Shout out to Saudi Arabia. Shout out to Riyadh season. Shout out to Turki Alalshikh. Now, recently, I had pretty much put out there, well, let me go back to the marriage proposal. Let me explain to you what I mean by this thumbnail. Okay? Sometimes my imagination can run wild. And, in this case, I thought myself, I said, I need to goddamn call up animal control. Don't you dare try to pretend. And y'all know who I'm talking to. All of you that it includes out there in that boxing landscape. Don't you dare try to propose to boxing within the U.S. footprint at the end of 2024. Don't you dare. Don't you dare try to come up here with some stale ass freaking lines as if you gave a damn. If you were those individuals that was criticizing other promotions because they didn't qualify to work with your specific promotion, it is hypocrisy and it's overflowing. You are intoxicated off bias and you refuse to be honest with yourself. Don't you dare try to propose to boxing, bro. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear that you're trying to build up a matrimonial love and get on one knee and say, boxing, I just want to tell you what I've been thinking about you lately. You know, that Turki Alalshikh, he's just been coming over here, showing his face so freely. I don't like that. You need a fan like me. I'm going to talk about you right. Yeah, I've said some bad things about you in the past, but things are changing. Because even though I was criticizing and shitting on you, I don't want nobody from a foreign country shitting on you. I want to do the shitting. Okay, if anybody's going to shit and wipe and shit and wipe and shit and wipe again. I want to be the one doing it. How are they now attempting to bring the fight fans together after you spread so much vitriol about promoters not doing what they were supposed to do when it came to big fights? What I mean by that, as I said again, you all's main stance was basically trying to convince the fight fans that it's better to make in-house fights. So what are you doing? You're saying it's better to be withdrawn, not working together. No need to police anything. We're talking about the fights that we're not saying. No need to police behind what the fans was asking for, the best fighting the best. No, you all had put out the message and said in-house fights make more sense than fighters coming from other promotions, even though they're in the rankings, being able to get a fight. How can you now come over and you want to act like that was a stance you never took? Do y'all remember when they used to talk that lingo? When it all used to say you on the other side of the street, yo? Y'all have to remember that shit. On the other side of the street. Do you all remember? So does that seem like when they're talking about the fighters on the other side of the street, does that seem like someone that's trying to bring someone together in a union? It does seem like you're trying to marry boxing. You're trying to make a proposal to boxing that you'll be faithful and loyal through any circumstance, good or bad, that you'll get on here and talk some sense. Just last year, I'm not talking about the 22s and 21s. Just last year, they were still talking that same shit, bro. Just last year, they was still saying the same shit, that a fighter was across the street and that was the reason why the fight wasn't made. That fighter ducked out. That fighter once again showed why he's bad for business. Why all of a sudden you all are trying to propose the boxing? Because you have seen what Turki Alalshikh presence has done to the sport. You have a lot of promoters that are affiliated with them, but now you have many of these content creators that are saying like, yeah, Turki Alalshikh is over here, but the U.S. boxing, we still can make some great fights happen. But now they're trying to come up with a revised, they want to come to you with a revised plan that includes promoters working together to build up boxing. Once again, reactionary, build up boxing. What brought this together? Crawford couldn't bring this shit together? For real, that fight wasn't good enough? Hear me, look, hear me what I'm saying. Why all of a sudden you have a sense of urgency because Turki Alalshikh is making y'all kiss the MFing ring? Because you can't do anything about his budget. Y'all can't do anything about how he moving in the U.S. But you all are on one knee trying to propose to boxing and explain, boxing, I apologize. I was just talking so motherfucking reckless. I didn't give a fuck about what I was saying. I talked about the best fighting the best, but I was up here talking about the other side of the street. If I was more so, I'm pretty much advocating for in-house fights. That's what they was doing. It was good for business. Isn't that what they said, y'all? It was good for business. You can't tell them anything. You can't tell them, yo. You can't tell them that's what they were saying. They was up here trying to convince the people that, you know, if business is going to flourish within that promotion, it's best for them to have in-house fights because it makes sense business-wise. So if it was making sense business wise to have in-house fights, why all of a sudden you want cross promotion? Why all of a sudden you let yourself be influenced by Turki Alalshikh's presence to all of a sudden become a patriot of boxing, y'all? Look, they want to become a fiance of boxing now. Imagine that shit. These low, I'm talking about low down content creators that float with the wind, they now want to become a fiance of boxing, y'all. All because of Turki Alalshikh is coming over here, changing things up, and they had ample amount of time to figure this shit out. I hear you, CJ, but that's not what's going on. You have individuals that's up here putting out messages, pushing narratives as always with square wheels. The shit is bumpy as fuck, but they don't care. But why all of a sudden you want to say, and they start pushing this narrative that Turki Alalshikh is losing money, right? And I say to myself, how are you going to stop him from losing money? Let's just say he did lose some money. The zone lost billions, right? The zone has lost billions. Were anyone concerned about the zone picking up extra affiliates and trying to grow the sport by joining forces? Yeah, joint forces, joining forces together. They didn't want to say anything about the zone. Why are y'all taking so much of your oxygen? Why are you stressing yourself out so much? Why are you now trying to convince the people that you want to complain about Turki having one fight over here and saying to yourself that he's not going to return back to the U.S.? So look, check this out. So if y'all believe Turki is not going to show love to the U.S., why weren't you showing love when Turki wasn't in the U.S.? When he wasn't in the U.S. and he was abroad, why did you all not join forces instead of arguing on here, debating countless of times on bullshit? Why you wasn't on the YTC trying to develop or come up with a plan that can put these promotions in a position? Why didn't you all get together? Because you say, hey, all y'all say y'all go to fights and y'all don't cover as many fights as everybody else and nobody's better than you. Why didn't you all, in the moment last year when one of the biggest fights happened, after that fight turned out the way it did, why didn't it click in your head to do it then? Why did you have to wait for Turki to make his presence? And this is where I call absolute bullshit to these cats that are trying to act like they're advocating for U.S. boxing. Let me tell you something. If Canelo had Turki Alalshikh behind him, there wouldn't be no union of no motherfucking U.S. boxing footprint. You cats will still be over there, goddamn hydrating off the sweat of Canelo's testicles because you love him so much. But just because Crawford, you found out that Crawford had an attachment with Turki Alalshikh, and Turki's first fight was going to host the pound for pound great Terrence Bud Crawford, you all continue to have a problem with it. If Canelo was the one that was a pioneer in this, and Turki Alalshikh was pushing Canelo, and they was on good terms, and it was in Canelo's freaking favor and not Crawford, we wouldn't be having this. Oh, we need a union in the U.S. We need to grow the sport. We need to come together. I need to push an agenda of rhetoric and tell the people that they're stupid and ignorant to support Turki Alalshikh. They need to be focusing more on building up the promoters here in the U.S. And I'm saying, God damn it, did we just get electricity? Somebody go dig up some of those inventors. Did we just get Wi-Fi the other day? Is there mass population still on dial-up? Because I could have sworn we have had the resources for years. If we selected to change anything, you could have all joined forces together to put the message out there by showing up to a fight. And all of you say that you have these sources, right, at these promotions. You could have gathered, you could have went together. You could have joined forces together and showed up and had a talk, a conversation. Came up with a timeline, spreadsheet, came up with a organized or a bulletized list of how you would want things to go to make these fights happen. I didn't see any of that type of cohesiveness. I didn't see any of that camaraderie. But ever since y'all found out that Crawford was a part of Turki Alalshikh, y'all automatically went on the hate parade. Y'all trying to pretend like y'all proposing the boxing, nigga. You ain't fooling nobody. Some of you all have already kissed the ring, bent over, sold out. The ones that's sitting up here watching boxers, leave that particular promotion that was not on here talking about how, oh, all of a sudden, hey, we should be building up U.S. boxing. No. Just last year, you all, the same people, were saying that Crawford should leave Top Rank and go bow at the feet over there at the PBC. Not only that, they was up here ripping Crawford apart just because in the media, it was a buzz going around that he was associated with MTK Global. Oh, I mean, so many black freaking content creators was going with that shit, talking about Daniel Cunningham and all that shit. Oh my God, yo. They was ripping that man apart. He goes over there and beat the face of that promotion. And they're still mad. They're not even man enough to take responsibility. But now they want to take a different angle. They want to change the method of conflict, y'all. Now, instead of dividing their message that promotion should continue to have in-house fights, because when the numbers drop and when things aren't going the way they're supposed to based off the old trash antiquated narratives that they was using just previous years before, when that's no longer possible, now they want to act like, hey man, we should get with these other promoters and we should be pushing for boxing right here in our own backyard. It's time. It's been long overdue. Well, speaking about something that's due, what was long overdue is the joint forces that should have happened, the teamwork. Y'all refused to do this shit. Y'all was over here coming up with countless of scenario-based lies just to further ridicule and run a smear campaign on one freaking fighter. Look, one fighter, y'all. They was running a smear campaign on one fighter, but yet all of a sudden they want to talk about justice for all. Let's come together. Let's all of a sudden come together because Turki Alalshikh has came in and did one fight August 3rd. Now you want to come together? And you want to hear something that's even more concerning? Let's talk about how bitter they was. The entire time that fight was leading up, they was busy up here trashing the fight and say that no one's going to watch it. It's not going to do nothing. When the fight came on, they was busy up here trying to say it only did 50K and shit. They was hitting below the belt. They didn't care. Every chance they get, they was deprecating Crawford's name over here in the U.S. This wasn't a fight that was in Saudi now, because Crawford had already proved that he was the best at 147, and this was two Americans fighting here on the U.S. footprint, okay, at the T-Mobile massacre. Now that Turki Alalshikh has been found to rock with Terrence Crawford heavy, and Crawford made that known when they announced that fight August 3rd that was going to be in L.A., a lot of you black content creators was goddamn defecating on that shit. Any chance you get, you had something negative to say about the fight, because you didn't never think of all the fighters that you was considering to be Toby. They was thinking that Crawford was Toby, right? And this man didn't have no sense at all. They call that man stupid, dumb. They say he's not the smart. They always talk about his looks, talking about he ugly. This is an American fighter now, undefeated. And these same individuals that's talking about, I'm proud to be an American. Now all of a sudden they want to be an American to combat what Turki Alalshikh is doing in the sport of boxing, which boxing is not even a sport that's considered an American, just an American. Oh man, we love those Americans the way they did that sport of boxing. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on. They kissed the motherfucking ring. They just mad. They just mad, yo. They mad. Turki Alalshikh is over here making moves, and they want to be racist now. They want to try to say, oh man, he's going to teach you how to talk. He's going to, what the fuck you talking about or concerned about how Turki Alalshikh is going to basically censor media when you haven't even been censored by the media over here in the U.S. because you don't attend fights? The fuck are you talking about? Turki Alalshikh got the juice. Turki Alalshikh got the juice right now, man. It's nothing no one can do about it. Whatever your spiritual connection may be, I know a lot of you niggas are going to church more often now. It ain't gonna matter. Because, like I say, just the other year, you all was still talking about that separation. Just in 22, y'all was talking about how dare Crawford go over there and ask to see Al Heyman's books. How he wants to basically make sure he go line for line as business supposed to be conducted, and ensure that him and his team is not being taken advantage of. They told that man he don't even rate, that he was stupid for asking Al Heyman to see the books, and Al Heyman wasn't going to do business with him. They was shooting that man down every chance they get. But now all of a sudden, you're trying to push a message to the American boxing fans to join forces to promote who? To promote who? Let help me understand. Who you want us to help promote? The one that's been losing fighters all 2024? Who do you want us to help promote? The one that you said the in-house fights are better, is good for business. Crawford's stupid for being over there with dang Bob Arum, and then when he leave Bob Arum, y'all still take him to the wasteland. I know, man. You can't stand in the middle of a tornado and hold your hand up and say, "Excuse me, sir. Can you stop spinning for a second? I just want to have a conversation." Yeah, I know you just ripped apart my neighborhood last year, but I want to bring peace. Is there any way you can bring peace and tell all your buddies, we want peace here in the boxing community? Every time you come over here, you just tear it up. I want peace. No, it's not going to be peace, bro. Anyone who's sitting out here listening to these dudes who want to all of a sudden come together for something they deem to be patriotic. Let's fight all of a sudden. Look, let's fight, y'all. They want to be patriotic when it comes to boxing. Let's fight with each other as one force to drive Turki Alalshikh away from boxing in the U.S. How stupid do you sound, bro? Fuck how you look. How stupid do you sound, man? How stupid do you sound? If you cats out there believe this pertain to you, it does. How stupid do you sound? How all of a sudden you want to make this about a race thing when y'all was up here dogging out Wilder, goddamn Bud Crawford, Shakur at one point in time, Javante? You just take a freaking target with one of your boxing and you just goddamn go to work. Just that's what we do over here in the U.S. Devin Haney got it too. Now all of a sudden they're trying to say that, every time they're, a certain boxer don't do something, they dogging them out. Oh, he should sign with this person. He should sign for that and all this other shit. But let Turki Alalshikh come over here. Now all of a sudden, fighters shouldn't be participating on Turki Alalshikh. No. They're going to participate because y'all trying to say, oh, man, it's dumb of you not to try to get paid off the gate and pay-per-views over here in the U.S. No, hold up. WCS, okay, I'll enlighten you. Wasn't you same dudes over here talking about how pay-per-view is dead? Just some years ago, y'all was talking about how pay-per-view is dead. So you're gonna denigrate American fighters for getting the guarantee money? Now you want to find another reason to rip apart American fighter for taking guarantee money over there in Riyadh season. How attractive is that? Think about that, y'all. How attractive is that? Like flies on shit. How attractive is that, y'all? That's some attractiveness right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit is beautiful. They want to bring U.S. boxing together because Turki Alalshikh, who they wasn't talking about like that in 23, they wasn't talking about that in 22, 21, and they definitely wasn't talking about Turki Alalshikh during the pandemic. And they wasn't talking about him in 19. They wasn't talking about him in 8. I mean, when did he become a topic of discussion for you all to try to plan a reactionary force to combat Turki Alalshikh, bringing boxing, taking boxing, as they say, removing boxing, majority of the boxing over to Saudi Arabia. So now they're concerned about he's going to take all the big fights and we're not going to be able to see them here. As I say, and I say again, a lot of you that up here complaining did not attend fights. You didn't think to cover them. Some of you are very selfish. You felt that if you attend the fight, that will reduce the amount of super chats you're going to get. Because simply you're not going to be able to go online and stay for 6 to 8 hours during a fight party because you should be working to cover a fighter, get interviews. That's those of you that's on the front line. But those who we consider in the military to be in the rear, the ones that don't go to combat, they in the rear sitting on their ass. They're the ones that's freaking complaining. How can you think that you can tell others what to do and you yourself is not actively doing it? How do you find out that works? I'm just help the people understand the daily routine. Help them to stop laughing. You're trying to gather U.S. boxing fans together to rebuke Turki Alalshikh, which is an impossible task. And then your only freaking angle is to send messages out to your listeners, which nobody gives a fuck about. You want to send a message out to your listeners without having an actual draft. You just want to talk it up like you've been doing. Y'all ain't going to fights, most of you niggas. And you ain't going up there covering and showing face to these fighters so they can know who you are. But you just want to go from afar, live stream after live stream after live stream, supposedly sending messages. So what? Where are they supposed to fall at? Do they have an IP address attached to them? What's the IP address of those live streams? Maybe we can track them down. For real. Maybe we can do a little IT here and there, and try to help you better get your messages delivered in a timely manner. Where are those messages that you're sending off to these distant these entities to kind of change up the sport? Where are they? How can we see them? How can we see if it's being received on the distant end and they're willing to take action? If you see a nigga, let's just say he light skinned. If you see a light skinned nigga, right, that's crying and calling other Americans idiots and shit like that, then you need to ask yourself, is he an imposter? If you got a nigga that's just talking ill shit, speaking to people like they subordinates, like the liability sits with us. I mean, I'm talking about there's a surplus of channels who has a habit of dogging out American fighters. Black ones real good. But yet all of a sudden they have been motivated to change it up, and Wonder Twins activate. They try to bring together US boxing, and you're not willing to leave your cubicle to go out here and protest. I mean, we need something, right? Like it needs to take more than a live stream. If you're going to go out here and protest, it needs to be something more than a live stream. If you're going to get your message across to whoever's listening, you can't just go up here and spew hate about how Turki Alalshikh and Saudis run their country. Now you're acting like some of the people that we have to deal with over here in the US. Now you're coming off as discriminating against a foreign entity, and you're trying to make it about what you don't like about their culture. You're trying to say he's going to dictate how we talk when we do that over here. If you covered fights, those of you, they dictate what you say over here too. And sometimes if you don't want to conform to that, you will get your credentials removed, or you won't be able to get approved for other fights. And you know what I'm saying? So what is that? Why are y'all sitting up here wondering, what he does, how they treat their women? And that's why I go to the extreme to let people know that the man that you see in the middle, Turki Alalshikh, got the juice, y'all. I said, let me put together a little reminder, you know what I'm saying, to let them know that Turki Alalshikh can't stop, won't stop. I'm not saying everybody should like him, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just looking from a point of someone who's been to the DMZ over in North Korea. I actually been on that bridge where it separates South and North Korea. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the soldiers look through the window. I've been to that close to communists. You know what I'm saying? I've been that close, man. I serve, but some of you, the only thing you serve is yourself. You serve yourself a drink. You serve yourself a freaking microwavable meal, a bologna sandwich. And then when you get your belly nice and full, you want to get on this microphone and try to treat the American boxing fans as if we should do something different to defend our homeland. You want boxing fans to defend our homeland when it's never been about. We really never had unity and think alike over here. But now you want us to defend our homeland when it comes to boxing, to stop Turkey Alalshikh from taking the big fights over to Saudi. Good luck with that, man. February 22nd is one of the heaviest cards that we've seen in a long time. Now, somebody tell me the total purse payout, a guarantee money on this fight card. Can somebody kind of drop it in the chat? What do you think the total purse payout is going to be on this February 22nd Riyadh on the zone? Can somebody assist me with the numbers, please? Because I'm not very educated, qualified, or even give a damn to guess what the purse payout. The only reason I'm asking is that when they speak about how Turki Alalshikh is taking the best fights, well, I want someone to come up with a guesstimate number on what this fight card, the purse payout, will be. And then I want them to do a live stream on how name the promoter of your choice, if they can put on the fight card, and if they will be able to match the numbers. Will they be able to match the numbers of this total purse payout if a fight of this ginormous capacity was going on here in the U.S.? Could they match the numbers? Guaranteed money or not, goddammit. Can any promoter over here match the numbers of this particular fight card and the total purse payout? Please, somebody help me understand. Let me get to the chat, man. I know it should be some strays over here. Shout out to Honor Brown on deck. What's good? Toby Bartlett in the building. What's good? Running Shields is real confident on David Morrell over David Benavidez. Has been for a while, but I wasn't very impressed by either last time out. Hey, shout out to Running Shields. I like Running Shields, man. You know, he's gonna be confident of his fighter. Real talk. He's gonna be confident. I mean, why shouldn't he? He should be confident, bro. You know what I'm saying? Squad Jones in the building. What's good with it, man? How you feeling this holiday? Morrell ain't seen nobody like Benavidez yet. Benavidez is a whole different animal. Yeah, man. Somebody need to tell him. Like, I mean, what promoter over here, since these cats are here talking against Turki Alalshikh and then attempting to reprimand, right? Attempting to act like they're reprimanding U.S. American citizens for supporting them. It doesn't matter how much or how many aspersions or how long the tirade is going on. It doesn't fucking matter that you're cussing your own kind out. If you're an American citizen, go back in history. What is that going to get you? If you're not in a leadership position of authority, I'm talking about on a higher level, real world now, what's the purpose of you cussing out average citizens and telling them they're this, that, and the other if they support Turki Alalshikh? The jig is up. I don't understand people hating on Turkey and Saudi. I could have seen prime AJ versus prime Deontay. If I could have, yeah. And it had to be in Saudi, not the US or UK. I have took it 100%. It's better to see the fights. Hey, if he would have had Wilder, AJ in Saudi, like he had AJ and Ruiz, I wouldn't have cared. You know what I'm saying, Toby? Because when AJ fought Andy Ruiz in Saudi, people weren't saying shit about it. People weren't. Look, a lot of them didn't even go to the fight against them when they had it in New York the first time. But that's a solid point. Shout out to the Oracle. Trick Noty in the building. David Morrell snuck something in when people wasn't listening. He said he was going to display his Cuban boxing skills. Morrell gonna box and play it safe. I spoke with people in his camp. Okay, for sure. He's gonna potentially use his Cuban boxing skills. So my biggest question, you know, for his Cuban boxing skills, is why would he use or implement that against David Benavidez and he didn't implement against Hot Rod? And then also, it's okay to say that you're going to use a certain format to fight this fighter, but how are you going to continue to feel comfortable doing that when David Benavidez is pressuring you? Like he's right there in your common space, your common areas. You know what I'm saying? He's right there in your face. Benavidez look every bit of 220. Yeah, he up there to Trick. I mean, both of them look damn near, a little equal in size to me. Benavidez just a little bit bigger. People these days support a fighter because they hate the other fighter more. I support a fighter because I like watching them. How times have changed. Time has changed tremendously. That's why Turki Alalshikh is over here, Toby. That's all I'm trying to say. That's why Turki Alalshikh is over here. They look, see, they need to go over to Iraq. They need to they need to hear the mortar rounds. They need to hear the rockets. They need to go to a real combat zone. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to start a war over here that doesn't require war. Turki Alalshikh is not going over here trying to be a dictator of boxing. He has absolutely extended the branch. It's not the olive branch now because we're dealing with Turki. Turki is going to do it his way. He's extending a branch of life to the other promoters and so forth to continue to grow, and look, the cultivation may not be seen as much over here in the US like they would like, but at least we get to see it somewhere. We get to see the fights made somewhere. Isn't the fighters the same fighters? They could be from the US. Aren't they the same human beings that's over here? We just get to see them fight in another location. Isn't that how boxing work? Sometimes they fight in New York. Sometimes they fight over here in Vegas. Sometimes they fight in Cali. Isn't that how it work? So stop pushing hate, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all crazy. Y'all are pushing hate, bro. Tyson Fury had height and reach advantage over Usyk, but still lost twice. Absolutely facts, Toby. Absolutely facts. Factoids. Trick said, W says, I won't cover no fights, but I will make sure I go online and go live and let Turki have it for trying to take our U.S. fighters to Saudi. Sound familiar? Turki is the worst to ever come to boxing. Man, you ain't never lied. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, hey, Trick, why all of a sudden it's imperative that they make it a point to act like they want to build up, you know what I'm saying, a cohesive group of boxing fans. They want to bring us together as one. I guess they want to take it back like the pandemic when we seen multi ethnicities in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Or when the George Floyd situation happened, you seen black, whites, brown, green, gold in the streets protesting. Now look, you got to come up with some creativity to get that type of union going. If you want us to organize like that, you need to come up with a moment that stands out that'll get people to join forces. But right now, you just getting online doing live streams. It ain't happening. Those of you that know who you are, it's not happening, bro. Those of you that's up here feeling some type of way about Turki Alalshikh putting on that February 22nd card, what promoter over here, please drop some numbers if you think you know what the total purse payout will be, with this fight card up here. Please drop some numbers. I'm curious for the listeners. The other side of the street shit lasted for years. Absolutely, man. Let them know lasts for years, man. You have people actually believing and talking in barbershops. You know what I'm saying? That it was the other side of the street. You actually heard Spence get behind the mic and say so-and-so on the other side of the street. But yet they want to talk about cross promotion, co-promotion. Now when the fighters have left and departed, now you want to pretty much union? You want a matrimony? You want to become the fiance of boxing? Come on, man. Stop it. Turki Alalshikh got the juice right now, yo. You can't do anything about it. Turki got the juice. You can't do anything about that. He has the juice. You waited too late. Raheem, you waited too late, Raheem. If you don't go to fights in person and never been, why would anything other than TV outlets matter to you? That is what got me. I'm for sure thought he had been on the scene. Crazy world. Uh-uh. 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 It's not just him. It's some others. It's out here. And touchy topics like this, get people in their feelings. Me, I can disagree with you wholeheartedly, but if I don't have anything to, feel personal, disdain for you, I don't feel nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? But these dudes, they started to take shit personal and outside of boxing. I'm saying I have a valid point. Like, you're complaining about shit that you have never contributed to. How does that fucking work to a competent minded individual? You don't go to fights, but yet you complain about what isn't going on and why U.S. boxing. And you don't go to fights so your voice can be heard, bro. I don't want to hear that dumb shit, man. You got to put in the work. You got to dig into the budget of those loyal listeners that y'all cats listen to. Get a plane ticket, get a hotel, hit a fight week, interview. Go out there and put in that goddamn labor. Put those heels on the ground. No, you ain't willing to do that. No, you just want to talk from afar. You want to complain about shit. Crawford is about to step in there for another fight in 2025. You can't fuck with him. So now it goes down to Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Tank Davis. One of those people. You know what I'm saying? One of those brothers. That's what it goes down to. Ennis, throw him in there too. Turki just gotta get a little better at matchmaking. Look at this, Adam. Let me look. Check this out. If all they're talking about is August 3rd, right? September, October, November, December. You're talking about bringing a fight over here since August 3rd, which has been not too long ago, several months ago, right? What do we say over here in the U.S. when we go out here and get a new job? What do we say? Give me a little bit more time. With experience, I get better. If he threw a fight over here, which nobody was complaining about, they wasn't complaining like Netflix was going in and out. They wasn't complaining about that at Turki Alalshikh. They wasn't saying anything about that, the zone, and nobody could see the fight. They wasn't saying that. All them fights he's thrown over there in Saudi Arabia with the concerts and shit, people wasn't saying anything about the audio and all that. They were just saying, okay, why is he doing that? They had something to say, man, I had to wait for the fight so long, man, and so and so. Why did that artist have to come? You know what I'm saying? They're unwilling to accept change, bro. He's going to let us see the fights. It's good business for him to let us see the fights. Absolutely. But when you have individuals up here acting like he's abducting. They want to act like this man abducting fighters against their will and putting them over there in underground fights, bare knuckles, glass, nails, brass knuckles. Anything you want to see, tune in for underground knuckles. And come on, that's not what we doing. Yeah, like the man is abducting fighters, man, and forcing them to underground fights for pennies. Come on. Shout out to OG Bruce Gas Boxer Jazz some more. What's good with it? Bruce? How you feeling, man? Turki doesn't come as a dictator like everyone says. He's offering guys life-changing money to do what they always do. And you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy that these boxers are able to get guarantee money. Because what they say, what we ain't gonna do is act like it was fighters over there working for that back end money. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The back end money was this huge freaking discussion on how fighters was getting paid and what they was getting on the back end to prove they was making more than this fighter. Oh, it's just so trashy, bro. Oh my God, man. It's so freaking messy. Nobody, and when I mean nobody when it comes to boxing, should be complaining about what Turki Alalshikh is doing. You know, nobody. Because you had plenty of time, but you was complacent. And you really didn't have the desire to do anything and stand out amongst anybody else to go to fights and let your voice be heard. Y'all are not going to fights, but you want to think your voice is gonna echo from a distance, and people are gonna pop up a position of attention and say, you know what, we need to take them serious. Hey, fly him in. We need to talk to him. We need to talk to him, all them hymns. Okay, get on the pronoun package. You know what I'm saying? Put them in the cunning on the pronoun package. So CJ say 200 million. He said 200 million. Toby said 200 plus million. Okay. So let's just take the 200 plus million, the 200 million, yo. Is any promoter over here willing to pay that amount of money for that lineup? Just take a little. Take a little, another peek. Let's just say 200 million. What promoter over here is willing to make it happen? Please, somebody help me understand. What promoter is willing to make it happen? I don't know if I know who they are. So if I can't, I'm unable to locate a promoter. Let's just say two promoters. You think two promoters can get together and come up with 200 million for a fight of this magnitude? You notice I said the payout. That don't have anything to do with what they have to pay for the venue, what they have to pay for insurance, the site fee, and all that shit. You know, all the shit that has to be done, right? The network has to go into 200 just for the payout for the fighters. Who's going to do that over here? One promotion, two promoters. I'll be honest with you. Zero is going to make a fight of this magnitude. Zero. I'm just being honest. Bruce said could possibly bring change. I mean, that sounds good. I don't know if you're talking about Turki Alalshikh or the ones that's complaining over here on the US grid. I don't quite get how they are complaining. And we had so many years to try to enhance boxing. Like we're only 4 years removed off the pandemic where boxing was just struggling. Boxing was struggling so bad, man. To get to this point where, yeah, we're getting fights here and there, but we're getting some grandiose fights over there in Saudi Arabia. Nobody was complaining like that when Joshua fought Ruiz and all them other fights that was over in Saudi. They didn't give a damn. That's all I'm saying. They didn't care. But thanks for dropping them numbers, CJ, Toby. Ain't that 22nd February card only 20-30 in the US, but Benavidez versus Morrell card about 80? What's better value? Right? I agree. Good, great question. What's better value in this inflated economy? You know what I'm saying? What's better? And look, this what they said when Turkey said he was going to come out with a low price point. They said, "Oh, it's not gonna remain like that. He's gonna raise the price up. He ain't fooling nobody." Well, ain't that what the Zone did? I mean, isn't that what ESPN Plus did? It's not like we're not used to inflation, bro. Things cost more right now. We're paying for shrinkage inflation. We're paying more for a product with less. We're paying more for a product with less inside. You know what I'm saying? We're paying more for an empty package. If you crack open a bag of Lay's potato chips right now, it's damn near the bottom of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'll suggest you do this. When you crack open that bag, you better take a deep breath, because that's going to be the best Lay's you ever get right there. The freaking air that was in there. And then I say 2 or 3 freaking swipes, the bag is gone. It's full of freaking air, yo. Turkey job is for Saudi tourism and get eyes on Riyadh. We're just lucky he's a huge boxing fan. Riyadh season covers sports, arts, theaters, all sorts of stuff. Facts, man. Drop the gems. Facts. Education is good. People have to be willing to understand what they learn from someone and not feel so closed-minded not to let them know, hey, I've just became a bit more smarter. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? They're covering multiple areas of entertainment. Salute to them. How can you say you cover boxing more than anyone when your own co-hosts cover the same thing? Your co-hosts cover the same thing you do. So you cover more fights than him, and he covers fights. What is so to his partner? Oh man, that was classic. That was hilarious, man. That was hilarious. And shout out to the Oracle, man. And that was hilarious right there. I mean, that is true. You know, when you present the paperwork and the numbers, like, come on, don't nobody cover more fights than me. I'm like, huh? What? Come on, man. People ain't buying that, man. If it's one thing we know for sure, with those who are frequent flyers on this YouTube airways, the YouTube Central Airways, right, is that you're gonna hear the good, bad, and ugly. And you're gonna hear it in rotation, man. There's no way to get past it. You're gonna hear the good, bad, the ugly in rotation. So don't ever think you cannot be educated off information that is not true. How do you know if something's not true? Because you pretty much hear something that is true, right? And then you freaking do your research and you learn how to separate the good and the bad. It's called education. It's called information. You know what I'm saying? Research. That's also when somebody talk to you, now you can retransmit. You can regurgitate that information because you did your research. You become more acclimated to the how the YouTube Central works. So you know how to separate the good from the bad. You know clickbait when you see it. You know? I spoke with 2 people in the sport who have been there, and they say nothing but good things and will go back in a minute. Damn. I can only imagine what the food spread is like. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what the rooms are like. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole scenery. Seriously. Just the whole scenery over there, man. Just the whole scenery. Every content creator is a legend in their own mind. Absolutely, man. In our own mind. But some of those individuals' minds are closed off, and you know, they believe a little bit too much about themselves. I mean, their ego is just taking over all that space, man. And the information that they supposed to receive is not being archived correctly. That's all. You gotta be willing to listen and learn from others. You gotta be willing to accept certain things that just ain't right. Well, hopefully y'all got the point. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that's out there that kiss the ring and trying to sit up here and promote, a Riyadh is not going nowhere right now. Y'all might as well get that in your head. And stop thinking you're a fiance to boxing. Boxing don't want your ass, for real. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Until next time, I'm out.